Augusto Boal is the man I'm celebrating today, and he is a theatre director who I believe came from Chile, who was a man who's been attributed with the development of what I think he called the theatre of the oppressed. And there's an absolutely fascinating book that he wrote that plots the history of theatre from where it actually emanated. It's something like many things that that was birthed around the time of the ancient Greeks, because they would perform their tragedies. The common stories and mythologies would get performed together. People would wear a persona, a mask through which they would speak, and there would be times when the chorus would be people were so familiar with the stories and the fables, and because oral tradition was so strong, there would be moments where a group of people would all sing or speak certain elements of the story, and they would do it together in harmony. And then these natural tellings of mythology that we see in tribal dances from around the world became more and more scripted, more and more directed. And suddenly the actors were put on a pedestal, they were on a stage, and there was a separation between participant and audience, between actor and audience. And this marked a very strong separation in the experience of what it was to be human. We suddenly saw the arrival of the spectator, which I feel you can see so profoundly in our modern world today, because we're consumers and spectators. We go to a concert to watch and clap. You know, it used to be that music was this living thing that everybody participated in, everybody clapping, everybody shouting, everybody singing, everybody clicking sticks and banging drums, and everybody dancing. And nowadays, the vast majority of people go to watch music, go to watch dancers, go to watch theatre performances. So he noticed how there was this enormous separation that developed and that could be traced back to that period of the ancient Greeks. And so he coined the idea of the theatre of the oppressed, because he noticed that as society evolved, there became this bigger and bigger distinction between the dominating forces, the authoritarian controllers of society, and the serfs that had to obey them. And at the time, I believe it was the Chilean Revolution was taking place, he developed this form of theatre that was designed to try and help the downtrodden, the serfs, to create a revolution and to harbour that revolutionary spirit through incredible theatre performances. He developed a troupe of actors that would go from village to village, and they would have a protagonist in the story that they would set up a story where the visiting soldiers would come to the village and take all the farmers' grain and then just walk off again. And in it, the protagonist would be a really downtrodden farmer that would just obey what the soldiers told him to do and just give all his grain away, and then sit there with his weeping family after they left. So they would perform this piece, this very sad piece, a very stark reflection on what was happening to villagers in their and farmers in their villages. And then they would perform the piece again, allowing the audience to then participate and to take roles. And very commonly, people enraged by the sadness of this tragedy that was performed for them would then want to take the role of the farmer. And they took this so far that there were times when the actors participating in this troupe were killed, because the enraged farmers would take up their tools and they couldn't separate themselves between the actual revolutionary act and the theatre performance that they had just witnessed and then were participating in. So this is a really powerful form of theatre that I was lucky enough to be introduced to and to train in at one period of my life. And for this reason, I want to really honour and respect Augusto Boal and his Theatre of the Oppressed, the history of the development of theatre, and for his insight into what it is to be human. Of course, it was a successful project that he initiated, and it did lead to revolution in Chile. Now, I've got very strong feelings about revolution, bloody revolutions, and what they end up creating, the havoc that they can create. So it's not like I want to advocate the sort of revolution that has created such a dark shadow cast across the 20th century, but still the insight that he shared, and this form of theatre that I would love to see far more widely used, is a really profound thing. So today I'm celebrating Augusto Boal.